Put together a little lecture and I make the class watch. Pacific Northwest, where we're blessed with Sasquatch. Like in the Himalayas, the abominable snowman, known to have strength more phenomenal than Conan. Discovered evidence of this endangered species. Footprints, hair samples, even stranger feces. Put a bad taste in your mouth like a glass of scotch. Some say it smells worse than an ass or crotch. In British Columbia, they're more than legendary, even though the skeptics claim he's imaginary. Eyewitness accounts that attract attention, while others can't decide if it's a fact or fiction. Is there an ounce of truth? I don't pretend to know. I'm searching for the proof, whether friend or foe. Got his own erotic novel, getting naked with ladies. What's the missing 411? Ask David Pallades.
There's things that are not known. There's things that can't be known. There's things that won't be known. It's okay, you're not alone. There's things that are not known. There's things that won't be known. There's things that can't be known. It's okay, we're not alone.
What's up, everybody? It's Jaymac, and welcome to Bigfoot Input. Check this out.
นิ่ง
เอาลงมากินเหล้าลงมาอุ้ยซูมดูเนี่ยเลยนั่นใครเอากล้องลงมาดูใคร
อุ้ยคือคนเลยคนเลยอุ้ยแม่
จริงนะท่านน่ะใครลงมาเห็นน่ะท่านน่ะแม่ลงบ้านเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยนี่ไงเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยโอ้ยโอ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ย
Bigfoot Input, and what in the hell is this?
Holy shit.
Alright, being as I have no backstory or details about it. I mean, my immediate reaction is there's no way this thing is real, right? I mean, if it is, what in the hell is it?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on now? Okay. Hey, this is the Lord of O.R.D, the FORTEAN Digital Shaman, along with my buddy, Sir JT Esquire, the
Ooh.
SASQUATCH Confessions. We started a new show called SASQUATCH Confessions and Friends. And our latest guest is none other than Jaymac, aka Bigfoot Input. Gentlemen, thank you for joining the show.
Hey everybody, it's Jaymac from Bigfoot Input. Thanks for having us.
Yes, Jaymac, thank you for joining us, man. So try to get a little closer to your phone a little bit if you can, and tell us, who is Jaymac and why did you get involved in this strangeness, this high strangeness for sure?
Oh man, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where it started for me, but I remember even as a kid, like, watching MacGyver, there was like a Bigfoot episode on there. If you remember, like the $6 Million Man, where Andre the Giant played Bigfoot. Little things like that always kind of tweaking my interest as a kid. I remember there was a magazine that you would find at the grocery store, and it was like 99 cents. It was called the Weekly World News, and every week they would have like some sort of alien thing, or somebody had Sasquatch's baby. And I don't know, man, as a kid, things like that just always resonated to me, and I got into it as a child.
Okay, man. So you decide, and tell us a little more about what was the impetus for you to actually start this YouTube channel?
So yes, I was talking to JT earlier. I said, I had a ton of pictures on my phone, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, different things. And I told my fiance, one night we go to the mountains every year, and we were in a cabin. We're sitting around the dinner table, and I said, I'd like to put these pictures in a Facebook album, so at least my family can look at them if they want to, and I can get them off my phone. Yeah. And she says to me, well, why don't you start a blog? And I said, what the hell do I know about blogging? And she says, well, you just put the pictures up there, you say something about them. She said, there's nothing really to know. So that's what I did. And so we kicked around a name for about an hour, and we had some failures, although I don't remember all of them. But we finally landed on Bigfoot Input, and I started the blog. And I think there were about 11,000 followers later. That led to starting a group so people could share their experiences. And I said, what I really want to do is I want to do a YouTube channel. I said, I would love to do videos, where I can take pictures and talk about them and do commentary and stuff like that. And, of course, she's like super, supportive. She's like, so then do it, And I did. And our first video, I had this dream of what I called Bigfoot and booze. So if you dig back far enough,
say that again. Say that again.
Bigfoot and booze.
Okay.
So if you dig back far enough,
I appreciate the second part. Hey, by the way, my son is trolling us again. He says Sasquatches are secretly CEOs of Pepsi. I told you, lay off on the trolling tonight, bro. Okay.
He's gonna have fun.
So if you go back far enough, you have to go back to the very first video. We did a story about a guy. This is a real story now. We didn't make it up. We had a guy who contacted us, and he's like, I want to tell my story, but I want it to be anonymous. And I said, all right. So he told me his whole story about how he got chased down by the Sasquatch. And I put it on there as Bigfoot, and I wanted to do the story along with some sort of Bigfoot, alcohol related thing, so it could be, Bigfoot and booze. And we did the story, and it is an absolute complete flop and a failure. I think to this day, it has never gotten over 1,000 views to this day, and it's been up for like 2 years now. But the second video we did was exactly what I was talking about, which is doing the pictures with the commentary. And that one, it's over 180,000 views, something like that. So it's been one of our most successful videos.
Cool. It's interesting you bring that up. One of these days, JT, I got to everyone share my story about my grandfather, Grandpa Adams. and him having been petrified going in the farm and the barn there. They're on he grew up there where the Tennessee and the North Carolina border was. He said there was a monster in there, and his siblings made fun of him, and in fact, his own children made fun of him. That's how bad this stuff gets. So,
Here's a question from Dogman Confessions. Does Bigfoot have like human genitals or like one of those pink things like a dog?
I never checked that close, so I don't know. You guys let me know when you figure it out.
no kidding. What is wrong with that's LT, by the way?
That's my twin brother.
Yes, it's our siblings. My son trolls me, and his twin trolls him. So, but they are the twin towers, LT and JT. So they literally are they tower over people. So, anyways,
They literally tower over people. Yeah.
so yeah, it's been interesting. I've been watching your stuff and what you're doing, and it's kind of fascinating. Plus the fact that you said earlier, but I don't know much about it. JT said he heard a little bit about your personal story. Before we get into this, looking at these images and all that kind of stuff, would you be interested in sharing some of your personal experiences with AKA Bigfoot?
Yeah. So you want to talk about what happened to me personally?
Yeah, well, it's up to you, man. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your
Yes.
personal stories. Yeah.
I've got 3, and I'll keep them, brief. But none of them are Class A, but I feel like they're all equally significant, if that makes sense. So I sent you this picture. I'm going to fast forward to it.
Okay.
This picture here.
Let's go solo, bro. Okay.
There you go. Okay. So I'm going to refer to my fiance as Q. Her and I like to take nature walks. We like to go out in the woods, Central Florida. That's where we're from. That's where we reside anyway. And, we go out and see, just enjoy the nature, enjoy the walk. So we're walking through this one trail one day, and we were about a mile down the trail. And I was taking a step, and if you ever seen one of those cartoon characters that's about to step off of a cliff, I just stopped with like foot in midair. I look like the Karate Kid sort of thing, and I'm like, shit. And she's like, what the hell's going on? I said, and I finally got my footing, and I stepped back. I was getting ready to step into this. And this was on a dirt trail. It's kind of Florida white sand. And there was a mound on one side and a mound on the other. So you can see the heel imprint down here at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
It was fairly deep. And then it comes up to, what I would say is at least 5 toes, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. Florida skunk ape are reported to have, there is like a 4-toed species. I don't know why that is, but if I had to guess, I would say this guy had 5 toes, or like one little one there, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you can see the ball of the foot right there. And this would probably be the ridge in the middle of the foot there. Of course, just taking a nature hike, I had no casting material. I probably missed my one and only shot to take a cast. So I just put down a water bottle and took a picture.
Yeah. JT, you don't know anything about 4 toes now, do you?
Oh man, you're gonna love the I don't know if I showed you Jaymac, but we're gonna show you tonight, probably end up talking about it. Me and my twin brother tracked a Sasquatch for 7 kilometers, and at the end of the tracking, I had a visual sighting of him running down the train tracks.
Really?
Yeah, that was in August 27th. It happened, I believe.
Well,
we'll show you that later. They're pristine tracks, man. Like
what we're talking about, let's just do it real fast, man. Just
Yeah.
bounce back and forth, man. We're just
Let's see it.
fellow squatchers here. Let me do this. That way he knows what you're talking about. So that's his 4-toe track.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, I saw this beforehand.
mm-hmm.
This is on what is this on the Facebook? I think I saw this.
Yeah, I probably shared it on the group before. Yeah, I probably did.
I saw that one. That's cool.
It's a strange.
Long footprint.
It's pretty detailed, isn't it? For a
It's about a
4
10-inch.
yeah.
It's about 10 inches this foot, and it's very odd looking. And when we went for a walk that day, and we ended up tracking it for 7 kilometers up the mountain and down the mountain. When we came out, my brother crossed the tracks. He was about a minute ahead of me, and he looks both ways. He doesn't see anything. And when I come out on the tracks, I was on my TikTok live, and I looked both ways. And as soon as I looked down the one way, you could see him running down the tracks. I even shared a picture of that with you, O.R.D, if you can pull that up.
We'll do it. So this is where it is. This is what I'm going to look at. It's kind of blurry.
Oh yeah, it's that was on my TikTok live, and the camera zoom is like different.
Is it foggy that day as well? Is it foggy?
It was smoky in August.
Oh, that's right. The fires were going on. That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's always like a screenshot of a live. That's the only time you see them. You know, they don't pose for pictures.
I have an S23 Ultra. Like, I should have jumped off my live. I could have zoomed up on his freaking face. But like, to me, it's like I've had connection with Sasquatch. You know, I see them. I've seen them 3 times in my life. It's like I'm not out to like get the proof myself. I'm out to experience this stuff, right? Just like that's what I'm about, right? So otherwise, I would have jumped off and freaking ended my live right there. But I was just like, oh, cool, right? Sasquatch is just another thing to see, right? For me, anyways.
So yeah, let's go back to this. I'm sorry about derailing the story there, bro. Let's go back to your stories, if you don't mind.
So yeah, that was about it for the first one. I mean, I got the picture, and that's all you could do. We did come across a den on that trip, and I may have taken a picture of it, but I suspect that was a bear den. It was too small. I think it was for a little black bear, so I don't think it had anything to do with it. But so moving on, you know, same scenario, different area. We're taking a walk, and we're about 2 miles in to the trail, and as we come up to this area, it was a very tight corridor, you know, like there was trees on each side of us. It was very tight. And as we walk into it, actually before we walk into it, I started feeling kind of unstable. Like I felt like things were swirling for me. I was feeling weird, you know? And I mean, I wasn't dehydrated or anything. Like I felt fine just a moment before. But so we get into it, and about 30 feet to our left, we hear this noise, right? Bah! And it kind of sounded like it wanted to sound like a bird, but it sounded more like a gibbon imitating a bird, you know, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So, yeah, on the other side, it gets a response. Bah! Just this weird little noise, you know? And the area that we're in, there's no noise from any other creature. And I had asked her, I was like, do you hear that? And she's like, you mean the silence? I was like, yeah, not a cricket, not a bird chirp, nothing. Just dead silence, except for whatever that was, right? So we get out of there, you know, we keep walking forward. It's pretty eerie at that point. So we get to our destination was basically where we're both like, all right, we're tired and we have to walk all the way back to the car. So let's stop and we'll get back. So we go back and we go back through that same area, and it's once again just nothing. Dead silence. No noise, and we kept walking. So that was strange for me, you know, but again, I try not to make too big of nothing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I did think it was weird. So fast forward, I think this was just and this story, honestly, this story touches my soul. This is the one that JT spoke about. I told it on our YouTube channel. I think it was 2021. It was a couple years ago. We went to the Poconos in Pennsylvania, or near it anyway. We want to go on vacation. So we get up there and we get a house. It wasn't a cabin in the woods by any means, but it was a house that was secluded enough to where you weren't tripping over your neighbor. And so we go out and about and do our thing, and we come back late at night. And there, by the way, I don't know what it is about that area of Pennsylvania. There's a pizza place like every 5 feet. You know, I'm not sure what
It's
that is
true.
about, but I mean,
It's
every
true.
5 freaking feet, man, there's a pizza joint. So, so every night we were
That's
there, we were
hilarious.
having pizza from a different place. You know, I was like, all right. So, we get home, we're heading home, and we're going up this mountain road because the place that we're going to pull into is on the top of this mountain. And I hear, I'm driving. Normally she drives, but I'm driving that night, and I hear her gasp. I'm like, whoa, what? And I hit the brakes, and she's like, you didn't see that? And I was like, see what? And she's like, the eyes. And I slam it in reverse. Just hit it in reverse, go back, nothing, right? She goes on to tell me, she's like, right there next to that tree, she goes, there was 2 big yellow eyes. She goes, but they were taller. Like, she goes, if you were standing next to that tree, she's like, it would be way over your head. And she's like, I was like, well, you know, I said, well, maybe it was like a deer or something. She goes, no. She goes, you know, it was tall. She goes, real tall. She's like, it was a deer. She goes, and the eyes were in the front of the face. She's like, deers are on the side, right? I said, well, yeah, because anything with the eyes in the front, they're predatory. You know, she's like, oh, it wasn't a deer. And I go on to research that they also don't have a lot of elk nor mule in Pennsylvania, especially eastern Pennsylvania. So I said, well, maybe it was an owl. And she's like, maybe it was. She goes, but can we get the hell out of here? She goes, I'm creeped out. I said, yeah, sure. So, by the way, I went back the next day in the afternoon, and I looked for a branch on that tree for an owl to sit on. There was no branch. So whatever it was 8 feet approximately with 2 big yellow eyes. So, so we get to the house that night, and we go to bed. And the next morning I woke up early. It was like, you know, 7-ish. I left her in bed, and I was going to go make breakfast. So I'm downstairs, and, you know, I'm from Florida, so it's like we don't get that kind of weather down here often. So I got the kitchen window open. You know, the cold air is coming in, and I got some Marvin Gaye on the radio. You know, I'm having a good morning. You know, I'm just making some breakfast, having a good time. And as I'm standing there like beating eggs, and all of a sudden, just this 5-second long howl. And I've been around enough to know, you know, coyotes, they sound like little monkeys, you know, they're always like little hyenas, they're always chittering about something, just always nipping, you know. And in a wolf, they have a real distinctive high-pitched canine howl.
Mm-hmm.
This was more like the Ohio howl. It was deeper, it was more guttural, and it was long. He was just long. So I literally, like, my blood ran cold. And I stopped what I was doing, I dropped everything, I turned on my recorder, and of course, not another friggin' sound from this thing. And then it poured down rain the whole like next day and a half we were there. So whatever it was hunkered down. It wasn't talking anymore. But for me, like, I'll always carry that with me. That was my one-time experience that I truly believe that I heard a Sasquatch.
I've only heard him myself once. And it was a similar kind of call, for sure. Me and the Squatch gang were out having a fire one night, and it started howling right in the mountains above us. It was coming from the distance, but you could just hear it. It was really long and stretched out like that. It did it twice. We got it on film twice. But it's very faint though on the camera. But we could all hear it like crazy.
If this thing had done it one more time,
right?
It was no more than, if it was 100 yards behind that house, I'd be surprised. I bet it was close.
That's pretty close, man.
It was right on top of it. I could hear it. So, you know, you want to hear something crazy about that story though? What really screwed me up later on is when I get back home, I just got it in my mind. I was like, after that experience anyway, I was like, I just wonder if anybody has reported anything to the BFRO in that area. get on there and I pull up the county that it's in. Turns out the neighborhood that I was staying in had 3 reported cases within the last 10 years. Like literally the neighborhood that I was in. Like this guy was right in the tree line of this neighborhood.
It's, it's weird because like areas up here, like where I go, where we had the 4-toed track and that sighting, there's been other weird things happen. There's structures and stuff found. But that river system has had, over the last, say, 50 years, maybe 60 years, has had like 9 encounters. And it's like over time that they just stay in the same areas. I swear they hunker down in certain areas, even if it's generational or the same one. I don't know, because sometimes I think about the supernatural side of Sasquatch. Like, is time a thing for them, right? Do they age? Is it the same Sasquatch people have been seeing there for the last 60 years? It's hard to say, right?
Well, let me ask you this. So don't you think that much like, say, a black bear or like whatever, if there's no food source in the area, or if the food source has been depleted, they will move on. They'll migrate, right? But if you are entrepreneurial, like, because I know I live here in Central Florida, we have a ton of black bears, right? That's kind of what we're known for. That, methamphetamine, and oranges, So, but they live within the neighborhoods, just outside of the neighborhoods, and they'll come in from the woods and they'll feed on people's trash, leftovers, whatever else, and then they'll go back. Mm-hmm. So if this guy had found, let's just say he found a friendly. What if he found one person that was willing to throw the scraps out the back door at night? Or, he found a way to get into people's trash. He's got no reason to move on. He has a food source here.
They definitely live like, on the outskirts of town. Like we're up here, the mountains are right on the outside of town if you're in town, right? And there's been like, I know there's been encounters where people have seen Sasquatch literally digging in trash cans at McDonald's, right behind McDonald's that went into the mountains, right? And it's
MK.
Like they come down, right? Did you say MK?
I did. I meant to say JT. You said they live outskirt of town.
Yeah, I did.
Well, apparently that doesn't apply to my town, because I filmed them in my town and had encounters in my town.
What can I say? I've had encounters inside my house, right? Like this supernatural side of Sasquatch, right? Like, what do you think about that kind of stuff, Jaymac?
All right, so
I mean,
this always comes up now and then. So here's the thing. So you're familiar with the term apers and wooers?
Yes.
Okay. So I fall somewhere in between those two things.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to err on the side of logic. I like to say, if this creature has abilities that seem supernatural or that are supernatural or whatever, let's at least figure out what they are first and what's going on first. Let's figure out. I'm not saying that I want to see a Sasquatch on a slab in a lab. I really don't. Because when that happens, it's over. The mystery's over. They go to some freaking zoo and this is done. Every Sasquatch web page, show, anything you can think of is over. The day that they get a Sasquatch live specimen and it goes into a zoo, this is done. The mystery's gone. So no, of course I don't want to see
maybe
that,
maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know about that one, because a lot of us have had some really bizarre experiences, regardless of whether people.
This is the thing, right? And it's like 2-3 years ago when I started Sasquatch Confessions. I never knew I would have a connection, right? They ended up showing themselves to me in 2022. 1 week after, I was gifted this grandfather stone with the story of transformation on it. Now, this has to do with the local indigenous people here, right? So, like, they're a Sasquatch nation. That's where it comes from, the word. That's where I had my encounter with them. And these guys, yeah. There's just you have to experience this stuff to really consider it, really, right?
Yeah.
Like it may come over time, right? Like I didn't think I would ever have this connection with them 3 years ago, ever. You know,
no, it makes all the sense to me, Jaymac, where your position is, because that was my position 7 years ago. And my background is in science, in environmental science, management, and ecology. And I worked in the field until I saw some high strangeness coinciding with Bigfoot encounters and sightings. Actually, I wouldn't mind showing. Is it okay, JT, if I show them my latest image? And then,
of course.
so this is what I filmed in May 15th. That's the last time I went out. So I actually filmed this, and there's video too on my channel. So I'll show you. You tell me what you think about it, because you're the man that puts the input in.
Put that input in, Jaymac. Put that input in.
Well, sympathize with me because I am looking at a cell phone screen that's 2 feet away from me. So I'm probably not going to go down and lay down heavy opinions on it at this moment. Although I do see a face.
A nose.
I see a face like kind of in the middle right there. Yeah.
Teeth.
It almost looks like some. I don't know if the ears are pointed.
No, it's actually got another one on top of it, so it kind of throws you off. But
yeah, almost to the left of it there, like something's going on to the left of the face.
Yeah, there's actually it's all blurry and pixelated there. I actually have the video on my. If I back up a little bit, there's actually a smaller one on top of it. And that's it's this weird looking arms. You gotta remember this is video. And so I just showing you a still on it, but
the face is very humanoid, so obviously that's kind of a given. What I'd like to do, if you're cool with it, man, I'd like to snag the picture, or you send me the picture. I'd like to analyze it, go over it in the next video. You know, that's
go ahead, man. Just go on my channel, either one, Lord of O.R.D or the Lord of O.R.D or the FORTEAN Digital Shaman, and I got a video of it, several of them, and you do what you want with it, man. I'm cool with it.
All right, excellent.
You can say it's all BS for us. It's okay. Because this is the thing. This is what I've discovered about this whole stuff. It's so personalized. And everybody's situation, we talked about this before, JT, that it's individual. It's like a customized experience for each person. And I think they designed this specifically. I'm talking about the things that are around us that I used to never believe in. And they do it to confuse us, and it causes us to bicker and argue. Some person sees one thing, another person. I mean, just like they have encounters, Jaymac. There'll be people's encounters. One person, like my first encounter, when I stand next to the Crow Indian medicine man, when we saw two of them, he saw eye shine. I never saw eye shine. Now we both saw it crawl up the ravine and get 15 feet in front of us. We saw that, but he saw things that I didn't see, and it's so many times it happens. There's so many different kind of encounters or sightings where one person sees one thing, but another person sees something else, and that's something we can't just dismiss as researchers, right? We have to consider that.
Well, if I could clarify, like what I was saying is, if they get a specimen and it ends up being on a slab somewhere, when I say that this is over, what I mean is anyone that look at your own channels and think how many people follow you have ever had some sort of spiritual paranormal experience with a Bigfoot. Probably not many.
Actually, a lot of them. Actually, a ton of them. It's the majority is turning out to be.
I'm one of them.
It's turning out to be the majority, bro. I'm not making this up. You know, when people started opening up about this stuff, like me, like 7 years ago, people slowly, and like cameraman, he's a Bigfoot researcher. He works with MT Paranormal. They go out in the field and research. He's a paranormal researcher. And we got guys in that team. They got trackers. They got trappers. They got guys that are familiar with the outdoors, very much like you. And then other guys that are, you know, paranormal researchers, and they're coming to similar conclusions that we have. And there's a lot of people coming out. So when I say that paranormal, this is all placeholders. There's something going on that we don't really understand. That's what it comes down to. So we call it this, that, the other until we have a definitive answer about it and stuff. We'll call it paranormal. We'll call it supernatural. We'll call it interdimensional. We'll call it physical, whatever, man. But there's a lot of old timers too that I've talked to, old timers, that they admit behind the scenes that, yeah, paranormal happens, man. It just, there's this associated, and UFOs, orbs too.
You have to understand, like, I'm not arguing with you. I'm not saying no, you're wrong. I'm just saying that I just like to approach things slowly from a different direction before we get into they're interdimensional, they can travel through portals, you know, like I want to figure things out from a different angle.
That part I totally agree with you. I think we're just guessing on that. We're just making that stuff up. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know what they're doing, to be honest with you. How do they just show up and disappear, and then, you know, how do they have footprints just, you know what I mean? Yeah, they'll be in the snow and they'll
call it one thing, but we don't know exactly.
We have no idea what's going on. That's why we need to talk together as a group, whether flesh and blood, whether skeptic, whether not, and talk about this, because none of us have the answers. We think we do, but none of us do. That's what the issue.
I mean, I've had decorated military guys tell me that, you know, they've tracked footprints through the snow, and then the footprints just stop in the middle of the snowy field. They just stop. So it's obviously there's something going on, and we should put that in our perspective as what is that, you know? But
at the same token, you look at the Patterson film, like my friend MK Davis, you know, he talks about it. He proves that that's a flesh and blood thing, 100%, and that it turns out that the people there say that there was actually more than one there. You know,
there was more than one there. But if you do the research on the Patterson-Gimlin film, you'll find that the logging company that was working there, that's why all those trees are cut down.
Sure.
They reported to the local police and to the local wildlife service ahead of time that they were having problems with an aggressive group of people.
It's true.
Large, hairy people in that area, and they weren't able to do their job. So, I mean, this is really what drew Gimlin, you know, Patterson and Gimlin in that area in hopes that they could film something, because they had gotten the reports that something was going on. So, yeah, I mean,
not to mention who are the ones filming them too? That's the other question. How have you seen the video? But there was more than just those two there that day. And I do believe
there's rumors that there was 3, because they caught that one guy in the film that wasn't supposed to be there.
Really?
They said it was just the 2 of them.
There's definitely more than that. I mean, we watched that. I'm pretty confident that those guys weren't there just for an anthropological study or research, or, you know, discover a new hominid. I think they were there we were watching the end, the last moments of that being, that creature.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think Patty made it out of that film alive, honestly. I think after that was filmed, they killed not Patterson and Gimlin necessarily, but
the other people that were around there.
Yeah,
because apparently, according to some pretty reputable people and as well as locals, that they took out more than one that day.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
There's a conspiracy theory that exists that the logs that you see coming into the video are actually bodies.
I don't know about the logs, but I do know that I have video of where they have shallow graves. I mean, I can show it to you. And the shallow graves, and you can see the blood, and you can see the hide. At least it looks that way. And it looks like
they killed a tribe of Sasquatch. Do you really think that they're going to let some creature stand in the way of them making, you know, deforesting that area, which is what they were there to do?
Nope. And that's why I don't believe there ever will come a body, and there will never be one in a cage in the zoo. It will never happen. There's too much at risk and at stake. So
yeah.
I just don't see.
They already got them. I mean, you've heard the stories about Mount St. Helens. I mean, they've already gotten the bodies, you know. So
yeah, for sure they do. You know they do, 100%.
Which, by the way, my hero, John A. Keel, who talks about that he actually had encounters with Yeti, and if there's a person to do some research on, I recommend you folks read his books. 60, 70 years ago, he was telling us about this high strangeness and stuff. And Stan Gordon, he agreed to come on our show. It's cool. To hear his side of this thing. So
That's going to be an amazing one too, man.
yeah, it's his high strangeness going on in Pennsylvania and Ohio and that area. So
Yeah, I think
cameraman,
that's what it is.
remember that cameraman. Remember to bring the boys along. So I'm in Ohio myself, so it's just like cameraman. So we have a lot of strangeness in this town, in this state. So, but no, it's not to challenge you at all. I'm just bringing up stuff, and I understand where you're at. Listen, until I had the experiences I had 7 years ago, I was out to prove that Bigfoot was nothing but a government psyops, and I thought it was nothing but BS, 100% BS. And I was like the skeptic of skeptics.
Now look at it.
Now look at me, right? There's no hope now. There's no return, right?
It's fun. I mean, we should challenge each other. We should challenge each other's way of thinking and what evidence we bring to the table. In fact, if you guys are watching the chat, I can barely see it from here, but I'm pretty sure that my good friend and colleague Kathy Westerman is out there. Bigfoot World.
Hey, Kathy, how's it going?
The Paranormal Researchers of Central Florida. So a lot of the pictures I sent you were from that group and from her personally. So she is I'll just say that she probably rides a little more on the line of thinking that you do. Whereas
it's only through experience that I feel that way. It's my encounters and my experiences. If I didn't have the experiences, I would be like, you guys are batch guano crazy. That guano crazy.
But you know, the thing is that Kathy comes out of the woods with the photographic evidence of what she's talking about. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of her stuff is extremely impressive.
Well, Kathy, we need to have you on our show. I think.
Well, you should. I mean,
sure.
Dude, I don't think there's anybody. I'm going to say for sure anybody in Florida. I don't know if there's anybody in the country that's coming out consistently with picture evidence more frequently or better than that group. So take that as you will, but they have my utmost respect, and I love that group.
Nice. That's very nice. Nice for recommendation. Thanks.
They opened for who did you guys open for, Kathy? Was it Moorhead that went up after you guys? It was Moorhead. It was Dr. Meldrum and David Blight. They opened for those guys at the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference, which was a great show. But fact be told, I went there to see them. I didn't stick around for everybody else. After they were off, I was like, all right, I gotta go.
So you want to look at some of your images while we're talking about this stuff? Or do you want to show the ones you want to show, or do you want me to?
I'll flip through what I brought. We can do a combination. You can do whatever you want. I think this is Kathy's most.
Let's go with yours first, and if the video is not too good, then I can always go with mine because it's a little more clear.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember this one. So you posting that. That's very interesting. Is that two of them or one of them?
Well, this is one, but the larger picture questionably has 4 to 5 creatures in it. But what I love about this guy, and people argue with me about this, but I'll die on this hill. He has a ponytail.
Just like someone else. Patty.
This is not the first time that we've seen that, right? It's like we've seen ponytails and hair decorations and stuff like that, you know. So, but that was what happened. What was funny? This was her first, I believe. She liked to go out and take pictures of tree structures. So in the larger version of this picture, you'll see that she took a picture of a tree structure.
Nice.
And then she went home and was like, what is that black dot in the middle of the tree structure? And it turned out to be this guy.
Now, do you guys have any idea how big it is? Reference, any kind of idea of size?
So you can reference her video on YouTube. She went back and found the spot and squatted down in the spot herself. And you could see that there was an obvious height difference between her and the creature. But keep in mind, you're talking about skunk apes. And skunk apes are very much a lesser, as far as height and muscle density, than your like Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. They don't have to climb mountains every day. They're more like in the swamps and in the small Florida forests. So they don't get as big. So yeah, there was a height difference, but I mean, the average of our creatures are more in the 6 to 7 foot range, whereas the rest of the country is more of your 8, 9 foot range, whatever.
The one I saw, first time I saw was, well, it's 10 foot. So it got 15 feet in front of me.
That's a big boy.
It's
That's a big
massive.
boy. That's enough to
Shockingly
scare you.
massive. Bigfoot World Cryptids, the Paranormal Central Florida. That's Kathy, right? She
She goes
says,
by Kathy,
I
yeah.
copyrighted this one with the state of Florida.
She did. So
Interesting.
she took that picture and actually had it copyrighted, and she's kind enough to let me use it on the videos and stuff. But they did copyright it through the state of Florida. So
Yeah, awesome. I never even thought about this one like that.
this is another one of Bigfoot World. This is actually Kathy personally. We don't know whether you're looking at a Sasquatch here or if you're looking at something spiritual, more paranormal. We don't know. The reason I say that is because that group has come out with they've come out with both of those situations documented fairly frequently. Some things are not Sasquatch related at all, but they're paranormal.
But I know, and they look like Sasquatch. It's like MK Davis. When he was in their Bluff Creek with Don, and he filmed a Sasquatch, but the Sasquatch he filmed he never saw. He didn't even know he filmed it. If it wasn't for someone returning the film years later, he didn't even know he filmed it. He literally filmed the thing, and it was no more than probably 30 to 40 yards away from him, from bridge down there on the edge of a creek. But when you watch it and all that, how could he not? It was messing around with stuff. How could they not hear it? How could they not see it? How could they not know any of that? It just doesn't make much sense. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make much sense.
That's a great picture.
It is interesting, man. It's very.
So same thing with Kathy's group. It's like she goes out. She usually has like a shoulder camera. She'll take random pictures of the area that they're in. They'll go out and they'll make noise, and they do their thing out there. I'm not really entirely sure what all they do, but they have a friend in the group, Miguel, who just has an eye for this sort of thing, and he'll find a spot and he'll zoom in on it, and he'll zoom and zoom and zoom, and he'll find it, and he'll figure out that was actually a Sasquatch or a skunk ape that was watching them. Whereas if you had just walked by, you would have thought it was just it was the bush. It was nothing there.
One of the things I noticed too, hands, and I'm not saying that this is what's going on, but it kind of looks that way. But I've noticed a lot of the ones that I filmed, they put their hands or a hand over their head that makes it look like it confuses the eye. If that makes sense. So like over the forehead, it's like almost like, I'm not saying it's so, but I have other ones that definitely that's what they do. They'll put a hand, flip it over their head, and it just confuses the eye. I think they do it deliberately. They must do it deliberately if you film this often as we do.
I've seen at least 3 examples where there's been a tree branch right across the forehead.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think that is deliberate. It's just a hiding mechanism.
So last show, somebody asked about why does Sasquatch thread grass and remember that, JT? And Nicole asked that about grass and kelp and stuff like that in their hair. Have you heard anything like that yourself?
Yeah. In fact, I brought a picture tonight that I was going to talk about, but I don't want to get too deep. But yeah, this is a horse's mane.
Okay.
And this is a fairly common phenomenon, so common that they named it fairy braids.
Right.
And, when you have a horse that goes into the barn and comes out the next morning with a braid, somebody with opposable thumbs or fairies were involved here, and people that have went overly logic on this subject say that, well, it happens when they run, the hair just twists and gets, this is a braid. This is an intricate braid. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I do believe that what's happening is the Sasquatch in these areas are getting close to these horses and befriending them and putting these braids in there.
Bigfoot outlaws used to talk about it all the time. I've never seen that before. Have you seen anything like that before, JT?
I've only heard about it.
Well, this is the first time I've ever seen an image of it that somebody's claiming to be specifically of that. That's amazing. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've gotten fascinated with the subject a while ago, and like I said, the whole topic of fairy braids. I personally don't believe in fairies. I'm not going to get into that subject, but I do believe that the
Hey,
logical answer here is,
we talk about aliens here too, if you didn't know. So.
I just believe that the logical answer here is that these Sasquatches are living nearby. They're befriending these horses, and they're braiding their hair. And you could argue that Native Americans learned that from the Sasquatch, or vice versa. But I think that they coincided for so long that obviously,
Well, I'm going to ask
something.
you two gentlemen a question. Is there a possibility that it's something completely different than Sasquatch is doing it? Is there other
Such as?
Well, maybe there's other type of hairy hominids or different cryptids are doing it, because I mean, has anybody specifically reported or said they've actually seen Sasquatch braid the hair?
So that's a loaded question. No, I don't think so.
It's a fair question, though, don't you think? It's a fair question, right? I mean,
I say it's loaded because I have an answer that I'm not necessarily willing to get up off of at this
oh,
point in time.
what? You're too good. Oh, come on. We're spilling the beans here too. Come on, man.
Let me just say this. I read a report from someone that I would consider to be reputable that this farmer accidentally stumbled into a Sasquatch being extremely friendly with his cow.
I've heard that strange things like that before too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't find that to be weird at all, frankly. Like, I think that I'm surprised that's not reported more often. I'm surprised it's like that uncommon, You get a rogue male Sasquatch that doesn't have a female. Anyway, I think it's common. So yes, I mean, unless you want to talk about, like, I don't know, trolls or leprechauns or whatever kind of cryptid would go into a horse barn and braid their hair, I just don't know what else it would be other than a Sasquatch.
It's fair enough. It's a fair enough statement.
This picture is from a guy called Sasquatch Omega. He's a buddy of the channel, available on Facebook, I think exclusively. I'm not sure. He's got some really interesting stuff. If you guys feel like reaching out to him, talk to him, whatever. I bring it up not necessarily for the subject, but because, like, I'm not so much a fan of your Cliffs and your Bobos and your moneymakers, but I really am a fan of these guys who are boots on the ground. And I like to, anytime I get the opportunity to talk about them, I like to talk about them as much as possible.
For sure.
Talk about Kathy and Bigfoot World.
If it's on television, I don't trust it. That just comes down to this point.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Don't even bother. Yeah, like, it's like I like Ronnie, LeBlanc as a person, but recently when that Colorado train Bigfoot came out, that was completely fake. I mean, he went all in on it. He went double down. It was like, oh no, it's real. This and that. Come on, Ronnie. I mean, what are we doing here, dude? Are we looking for real stuff, or are we just gonna, like, say, we're gonna promote anything just to make it, sensationalism is really what it is.
Yeah, you just never know, right? You never know what people's intentions are or agendas are,
Diesel says, how smart do you believe these beings to be, Jaymac?
How smart? So they're far more than animal,
Oh yeah.
Far more than animal. And so I'll say that they've chosen a lifestyle that includes living primitively. So that doesn't make them unintelligent. It just means that that's how they choose to live. They didn't build a house. They don't have electricity. It's debatable whether they use fire or not. That is still a debate.
Yes.
Yeah, and tools and things like that. So I just think that they're living primitively. But I'll tell you what, as far as brain mass goes, per pound, I bet that they're with us or above us.
Oh, for sure.
They gotta be pretty darn. They'll be pretty darn smart, don't you think, to avoid us the way they do?
So not only smart, I'm sorry. This is another picture from Sasquatch Omega.
That's a great one. I like
smart,
that.
Cow Squatch.
If you guys ever listen to Vic Cundiff, he does various shows about Bigfoot. Okay,
Sure.
so he does one called My Bigfoot Sighting. And for a while there, I was addicted. I listened to all of them. They're gone now. I went through all of them. But there was one about a guy, and not to get too in depth, but he was in Australia in the Blue Mountains, like way in the Blue Mountains. And he came across I think it was 2 or 3 thylacines. And he said it was jarring. It was kind of surprising to see a thylacine. He goes, but I knew that they had existed, and it was questionable whether they still existed. And he goes, well, here they are. So he keeps walking down this path, and he comes across.
When was this? What year was this? Do you remember? Because this is important. Because we do have video of thylacines, but we don't have anything recently. How recent was this report? You know?
I mean, if by memory, you got to understand. I listened to 100 of these shows. I'd say
within past 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah, it had to be past 06. It was 06, 08, somewhere around there. A little past that.
Okay, all right. Just curious, so because we do have video.
So the Yowie that he came across, he said what was really important about it was 2 things, and I'll point out those 2 things, and we'll leave it at that. But the first thing was that he was completely emotionally crippled. He said I wasn't scared, I wasn't afraid. He said I was sad, I was melancholy, because I've never felt quite so miserable in my entire life, other than in that moment. And if you do any sort of study on infrasound, you know tigers have infrasound.
Yeah.
So when we hear that growl, it strikes us to our Neanderthal stage to know that, oh shit, we're in trouble, right?
Yep.
So that's the question: is do they possess infrasound? Second thing is, he said the last inch of every piece of fur, of hair that was visible to him was translucent. He said it's the same thing like polar bears. Polar bears are not white. They have translucent hair, and they live in the snow, so they appear white. So if this Yowie has translucent hair, then it's going to blend in with whatever is next to it in its own environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is Dennis Hurstad, Oregon area, I believe, or Washington, sorry.
Okay.
Pacific Northwest. Just,
That's
I don't know.
good.
It's a beautiful shot. I don't know if I'm giving it justice on my like setup here.
I can see it. Yeah, we can see it fine. Looks great. See the face, the eyes, the everything. The head.
Yeah, this is an adult male. Yeah, you can see the cone shape. This is an adult male of a tribe that he's in contact with. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So don't tell me that they don't exist.
Yeah.
You know, interesting. This is another one. A new friend of the channel, Catherine Norris. She comes out of New Zealand.
See, these things are everywhere, man. You know, like some people go, oh, they're here, they're there. I mean, they're literally everywhere. You know, New Zealand.
Yeah, who'd have thought? Like, I never really thought New Zealand.
I shouldn't say things because I call them people, right? They're people, man. That's what I call them.
Right, and you can call them whatever you think. I mean, I know that there's people believe that they're ancient humans, they're tribes, they're the old ones. They're, you know, I understand that, and I don't disagree with that. I've heard many reports that they speak Cherokee, they speak Native American languages and stuff like that. So that's an interesting topic in itself. But
oh yeah, I know. I've heard like they'll use like not just like even that. I've heard like they'll use stuff like from the areas they're from. Like say they're in the South where there's some like people that have strong Southern accents and speak a little different. Like they take in from the areas where they are and the people that are there. I've heard that before.
I believe that. So unfortunately, again, this is another one that's not going to get its justice, but you can see the eye there and the eye there and the cone-shaped head here and the mouth down here. This is
Mhm.
out of Central Florida. This is a gentleman named James. He's part of the Bigfoot World group, and this is a big boy. Like, I don't even know
We need to
how
talk to
tall
this
this
Bigfoot
creature
World group. This Bigfoot World cryptids, the Paranormal
is.
Central Florida are going to be contacting you.
I made a comment. I made a joke to Kathy a while ago. I said, I did an entire episode just from Bigfoot World, and I did it maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago. And I
Awesome.
joked with Kathy. I said, Kathy, I could do a whole other episode just on the stuff that's come out since then. Like, no problem.
Yeah, we should have her on sometime. That'd be great.
We should send her
Absolutely.
an invite. I'm sure she would. She'd probably be interested. This is the whole picture, by the way. Remember the one we were talking about earlier with this guy here in the middle?
Sure.
Oh wow!
This is the
Can you
entire
zoom on
show.
that a little more, J-Mac?
Sure.
Look at the face on him. Holy!
Yeah. So
That's
this
a
is
good
what
shot,
she
man.
did. She only took pictures of tree structures. So
Yeah.
you can see the structure. And then
Oh,
she
yeah.
gets home and she's like, what is this black dot in the middle?
Freaking Sasquatch is what it is. Bigfoot.
Skunk ape.
Frick yeah.
Okay, this is also James from Bigfoot
Oh
World.
wow. See, some people, not some people, but I've talked to a couple people where they would call that being something else, not a Sasquatch.
What else would you call it? It's like,
That-
for me, it's like, I got to stick with what I know.
we're going to be speaking with her probably this Thursday. Well, we will be speaking with her, so we'll have to tune in for that one to hear it, I guess. But
Oh yeah, that Thursday show is going to be really good, and there's going to be some good images in that one.
yes, 50 plus years experience are coming in, so we're excited to talk with her.
Who's this Dutchy Beliefs?
I know her.
Dutchie Beliefs she's a friend of the channel. I believe she's from the Netherlands.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
Well-
and I mean, she's got some mind-blowing stuff, man. Like, really, this is probably one of my
Talk to her.
favorites here, but
Yeah, it's a
definitely
really
not
good
the
image.
only one.
She's friends with like Mark Abel. I see her a lot on Colorado Bigfoot posts and stuff like that. I see her name pop up. I'm friends with her on Facebook too. Yeah,
That's an
I see her.
excellent image, and it looks to me like there's more than just one in that image. But that's how I see it.
Yeah.
So,
You could dig into it. There's a lot of stuff going on there.
very cool. So where that was filmed in the Netherlands? You said specifically?
Yeah, I believe that's where she's from. This is another one of Kathy's. This was in Kathy's backyard.
Oh wow.
No, you guys are going to explain this one. I do not know what I'm looking at. What is this one? So,
All right, so follow the mouth here, right? Just above it, you got a flat hooded nose with two nostrils. Eye there, eye here.
okay.
You've got a highlighted cranial ridge right there. And then if you go up here to the top, you'll see the cone-shaped head. And this bit of white here is foliage covering his face.
Okay.
So you just see it better than here. Or zoomed in, either way.
Interesting.
All you're seeing is just the face
Yeah.
and the little bit of the head there. But what's
So-
interesting about it is, like, this is literally Kathy's backyard, so that begs the question.
Hey, I agree with Be Grown here. Be Grown. We love Sabe and my cannabis. I love that.
Hey, by the way,
So
talking about you too, JT. At any time, if JT has some images he wants you to look at as well and break down. So if you're interested, so we'll watch a few more of your images, and we'll jump into some of JT's, and then go back to yours if you don't mind. So.
All right, I'm going to show you one more here. This is, I wish I had my pointer thing, but anyway, can you see the head here?
Yep.
And the face and the full body here?
Totally.
This is Scott Loomis, Monsters from Maine.
Monsters from Maine, okay.
Definitely a friend of the channel. He's got he has his core interest is ghost dogs or dogmen, which I'm very much on the fence about. But he sent me some images that are extremely impressive. This just happens to be one of them. You know,
Would
this
you,
is
is
obviously
it all right if
Sasquatch.
I think the one I have, the image might show off better for this one in particular. Can I
Yeah, go for it, man.
then support what you're saying here? Let's see what I want to do here. Where am I at, JT? Oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. Duh. So this is the image, right?
That's Jaymac's image. Yep.
So this is just that the face, the eyes.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that the
cranial ridge right there, cone-shaped head. You got it.
almost looks like
Mouth.
it's got his fingers right there too. I find a lot of them they put their hands on branches or on the tree, but I'm not saying it's so. But I don't know if that helps out any or not. With that, I'll let you go back to yours. So,
Not sure that. I think that was just about everything I had. This is also. It's kind of hard to make out
I see
on
it
this, but
right away.
yeah, this is sort of a dog-faced creature. And there's an eye up here. This one for me is a little hard to make out, but I have it in front of me, so that makes it easier when you're transferring one image from your the phone to the tablet. It's a little different. That is also Scott Loomis. But I think everything else I brought, guys, was pretty well superficial. I think everyone's seen this. What's that?
I got some images from you. More. Is it all right if I show those?
Yeah.
Okay.
This
one, I don't think we talked about this one. Did we?
Yeah, we brought that one up.
No, I don't remember. Did I miss it?
J-Mac had pulled it up on his phone. I think he stepped out for a moment, maybe.
There it is. Yeah, that was Dennis Herstad for sure.
That's a really good image.
Oh, yeah.
Great image, yeah. That's, like I said, Dennis Herstad. He's from Washington,
love that one.
I believe.
Now, what about this one? Did you guys talk about this one?
Yep. Catherine Norris. She's from New Zealand. That is James from Bigfoot World.
Yeah, and you guys talked about that one. Did you guys about this one?
Also Catherine Norris.
That one you did?
That's one of Kathy's, yeah.
Okay, it's cool. So let's check out some of JT's stuff. Is all right then? Is it all right with you, JT?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's what you wanted, right? You guys have talked about this. So this is JT. When did you film this? Last week?
I think that was 3 days ago. I think it was Sunday or Saturday. I can't remember exactly now. so Saturday. It was Saturday morning. 2 days ago.
Something was going on here. How did you guys discover this? Somebody pointed this out to you? Who found this?
My twin brother was scrolling through his pictures and he just seen it.
Oh, that's right. Your twin brother.
LT Dogman Confessions.
He's the one that filmed it. Okay, so
yeah.
So what's going on here? What one?
We believe it's a adult holding a baby there. You can see the arm come around the tree, that gray hand. You can see the little head. You can see the eyes, the face, the head sticking out behind the tree.
You see the dark recessed eyes. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I can see what you guys see. What do you think, Jaymac?
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's a Sasquatch head poking out from the tree there. I'm not entirely sure what the brown image is on the left, whether it's his like appendage or something like that, but I think what impresses me is the actual face itself that comes out there from behind the tree.
It looks like Jaymac has another image to break down, bro.
I already hit him up. Don't worry.
Is this me? I think this is what I did. This is what I saw when I saw it. I pointed out. I saw that this looks like an infant head. This is the more adultish head, and this is the arm, and there's kind of fingers there. And go back to this one. This is what I saw, but I didn't. I'm not saying I'm right about it, but
I see it, man. I see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to get, like I said, that picture. I'll take it and I'll analyze it a little closer and see what we see. I don't like to look at it and just go off the cuff. I like to kind of give it a little, I haven't had a chance to actually analyze it yet and look at it and see what there is to see. But,
so what do you think? What do you think these beasts are?
That's a Squatch gang, man. That's a Squatch gang.
Look at some beasts there, man. This is amazing. A beautiful place BC is. I'm so jealous.
That's a tree structure in the same area that we. This is all these pictures are the same area. We've been coming here for the last year.
Look how green it is.
So, and you know, we've had strange things happen here. Apples disappear off the camera without no pictures, and you know, that's a picture of a Sasquatch. So I mean, we know they're there with us, right? We know they're there.
What's this about? What's this about, JT?
Now, this is a picture here, and I sent some other pictures along that show there's a Sasquatch right in the middle, and then there's like an elemental spirit. That's a elemental there, and then that's the Sasquatch.
Which one is? What's this?
That's the Sasquatch, and he's like fading out. He's literally fading out, kind of like, say, cloaking.
There's something strange going on around there, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And often, you know, we've talked about this many times, O.R.D, how oftentimes when you film a Sasquatch or have them in your photobomb your pictures, that they often come with forced elemental spirits. I believe that's what we have there. You can see, can you zoom in on that a little more?
I sure can, sir. JT SQUATCH.
Now scroll up. More. Up. That's the face right there. Yes. You can see the wide nose. The picture, it's kind of hard to see right now because it must look different coming through this, but on the picture on my phone, you can see the goatee, like the beard, the mouth.
Pixelated. I'm blowing it up, so it's not the original image. So there's something going on here too, though, man. I see something going on here. That's what I see, but I don't have no. And there's other things.
Now, the next pictures that I sent you are, I sent you one like this, and then one where I drew on top of it. And I believe this one this was really close to me, probably about 10 to 15 feet away. And if you look at it carefully, and it's going to be hard to see, but it's a Sasquatch's face, and he's closing his eyes. He's literally like closing his eyes so I can't see him, and he's just dark.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's in the same picture.
So once again, we're setting up Jaymac.
JT, if you send those to me via email or messenger or something, that'd be great. Like I said, glancing at them on a screen is not really a fair assessment for you, you know, or like, you know, to like what do you think of this? I don't know, like, yeah, but if you can actually get it in front of your face and look at it, you'll tend to see things more clearly.
I'll definitely send them over to you.
So this is the image of that Sasquatch earlier?
Yeah. And then I draw on each one, like, you know, kind of like where he is, right?
Okay. I can see something going on there.
Mm-hmm. He's like cloaked out. I actually took 3 pictures in a row, and in the third picture, he disappeared. He was literally cloaking. I caught him in cloak.
Was it cloaking or transforming? Or
same thing.
Or
whatever you want to call it, I guess, right?
Magically disappearing. Oh,
see, look at that though. Can't you see the nose and the mouth, the lips and the eyes?
These eyes right here?
Yes.
Is this
a wide set nose? That's his nose.
Well, Jaymac can spend a lot of time. He'll be able to find it. So I see something.
Yeah, I can see it from here a little bit, but yeah, no, I'll have to take a closer look.
So that's what you drew on there to let us know. And go back. Back.
See, he's got a goatee, kind of like a beard going on. His eyes and nose. He's looking down. You know, he's not. His eyes aren't open. He's literally looking down.
Interesting. And the footprint.
You can see it's just very faint. This is where the Sasquatch was literally coming towards us on that. When we tracked the Sasquatch for 7 kilometers, it was coming. The footprints were coming towards us, And this was the track where it turned around and started going back up the mountain away from us. So we literally followed this guy for 7 kilometers up the mountain and down the mountain.
Well, what's this going on right here?
I believe like that's more of him like pushing off and like and running in the opposite direction. It was like a big scuff mark there.
It sure looks like one.
Yeah, so I believe that's kind of like where he turned around and started going back up the trail away from us.
Was this stuff really powdery? I mean, as far as the sand?
Super powdery. You could blow on it and it would disappear. Like it was August 27th, fire season, super dry out. That's my twin brother standing down there to
was a reference.
Size comparison of the actual Sasquatch that we've seen.
You're lucky the print was there at all.
Pardon?
You're lucky the print was there at all.
Yeah. No, we went there at 5:30 in the morning, and we had found like 10 or 15 tracks. I only filmed like a few of them. I didn't take pictures of them all, but we found like a shit ton of them. And it was 5:30 in the morning. Like nobody had been around there. You know, I went back the next day to see if we could possibly cast some, but they were all blown away by then and turned like you couldn't see them anymore.
So what's going on with this one here, JT?
It's the same one, right? It's just another shot of the 4-toed track that we.
The same day.
Yeah, same day.
Okay.
All those footprints are the same ones.
Interesting stuff.
We, LOL, Lee, my brother, we. Yes, we track the Sasquatch.
We. Fascinating stuff. So, so how long is Jaymac? How long have you been actually doing this, breaking down videos and doing the YouTube thing specifically? It's been 2 years, 3 years.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, let me say one thing here too, because my brother just jogged my memory with his comment here. We have a friend that lives in the area. When this happened, he lives right in that exact same area, and my brother ended up talking to him and told him about what had happened and what we'd seen. And he goes, it's really strange because over the last week, we've been hearing what sounded like a moose, like making these crazy calls, like moose calls, or they sound insane, like almost like a Sasquatch roar. Like if you actually listen to them online, you'll see. And so that's what my buddy, or our buddy, was thinking, that he could hear something like a moose, but we don't have moose in this area, like at all. In the Fraser Valley where I lived, there's 0 moose. So it's just like, what a coincidence, right? Like we have this sighting, the tracks, and buddy literally right down the road has these calls blasting out over the last week. You know, more, I guess, kind of confirmation that what we've seen was a Sasquatch, I guess. For me, anyways.
It's a wild ride, gentlemen. That's for sure. It's an absolute wild ride. 100%.
So, excuse me for a second.
Did you get any tree knocks? Not there. No.
So I can show a really weird creature. You want me to show you? It's a really weird video.
Let's do it.
It's not. This is going to scare you guys. Ready? Mark, set, go. Tall, dark figure freaking out on my porch. I didn't seriously believe in supernatural. Have you seen or heard anything weird around here? Now that's one weird creature. I'm famous. I'm on Lynn Eastburn's show. Oh, by the way, cool, I had a great chance and the opportunity to interview Lynn on my channel. If anybody's interested, go check it out. I think we had a good conversation. I don't know what you think.
Oh yeah, I loved it, man. I watched the entire thing. I was there the whole time.
I'm like the first person to ever interview Lynn on the YouTube about this stuff. I was like, what? But mind you, she's been doing this for a little over a year, and she's managed to interview over 100 and almost 200 Bigfooters. That's quite a feat in its own right, with all the egos and stuff, man.
Hey, look at the comment, O.R.D.
There's the hoodie. Yeah, I did. I put the hoodie's on, man. It's 100% on, man. I told you I'd do it.
It was. I've seen it. It was awesome.
I'm a committed and faithful friend. So yes, just back to this whole thing about Jaymac, man. So you've been doing this for how long now? As far as breaking these images down?
We started January 9th, 2021.
So it's been 2.5 years, and you've grown quite a bit, actually, for a YouTube channel of this nature. So I'm very impressed with that. What were the secrets in getting you to grow? What's your ancient Chinese secret, bro?
You know what? I'll share something with you that happened. I believe it was November of 22. I was sitting at work. I was bored, and I made this video on my phone, which you guys have probably already seen it. But it's the Russian car company that put out a commercial with a Sasquatch. It's the big white Sasquatch rolling down the hill with the guy, like he's got him in his hand, and he goes rolling down. Yeah, and it ends up being they made a car called Yeti, and that was their commercial for it. And I made that video, and I made it specifically to debunk it. I'd seen many times people were posting it as real, and people like to add filters or crop it and just make it look, oh, look at this, it's real. So we did the whole video with the whole commercial showing the end, and that was the whole purpose of it. Somehow or another, it gets tagged with the hashtag only in Ohio.
Hey, I'm from Ohio, man. Dude, don't disrespect us, man. Those Ohio boys, we get so much disrespect, man. We're always third place.
This video, I think it was when it finally came to a rest, it was at 1.5 million views. And
it's how it always works.
Oh man, those videos will get the most attention. They'll get the most attention.
Yeah, like, dude, listen, I will put hours into research in a video, and I'll do it, and it'll get 1,000 views, and it'll be a total flop. But I do some stupid 10-minute video on my phone at work, and it's 1.5 million views.
At least you get 1,000 views. I mean, shoot, I'm lucky to get 100. So,
I think that was a large contributor. We probably got 1,000 subs just based off that video. And we have a lot of support through Facebook, and I try to make a personal relationship with the researchers, the people that I know. I try to actually know them, and they continually come back to me with content because they know me. And so that that right there, plus, I don't know, maybe we got lucky, maybe we don't suck that much. I don't really know, but whatever it was, we've managed to get this far.
Well, the interesting thing is what I'm observing. It just as I've been doing this for 7 years, I've been posting images just like what people are doing here online for 7 years. And there wasn't a lot of people out there when I was first doing it. My old channel was Old Religion Dystopia. And of course that probably didn't help much, but I'm a truther. I'm not just a Sasquatcher, right? So I don't just talk about Sasquatch, I talk about all sorts of things, right? And I used to have thousands of subs for whatever it's worth. But the thing is, I used to show these images 7 years ago when there's hardly anybody, and got a lot of freaking grief from it. Oh my God, from everybody. But now I see a guy like you be successful with it, and I'm so happy. Whether or not I influenced you or not, it doesn't really matter. Just guys like me were willing 7 years ago to do it and face the arrows and the insults, because now it's like, you see this new breed, you new guys. I hope you guys really are successful. Really, I honestly do, because I think it's important that we talk about. My issue about this whole thing about Bigfootery is that Sasquatch represents maybe 1 to 5% of everything we're filming out there, and there's a whole bunch of other things going on there, and it's not just pareidolia.
Right, and the word pareidolia is that's a wormhole. It's like, I try to take into consideration that pareidolia does exist,
Who
So I
does?
try not to get overwhelmed about things, and I try to look at things logically. But when you see pareidolia it's literally the mind's ability to find a face in the bush, and it was from our Neanderthal stage, so we wouldn't get ambushed. But you can see an eye and a nose and a mouth in any, like, if you take a picture of the forest, you can find that in any picture. But when you start getting the cone-shaped head and the jawline and the light colored hair across the cranial ridge, and come on, eventually we have to stop dismissing everything as pareidolia.
Yes.
Just because
I totally
you get a clear,
we have better
look and
cameras. Just in the past, because I started filming my stuff with P900, I think I get pretty sharp images, and it's much sharper images. And we just imagine what's going to be like in 10 years. And so we got all this stuff we're filming, and then we're going to have to start dealing with the fact that we're filming this stuff and it's popping out of trees. It's not just patterns and the bark or etc. But or nubs in a tree or whatever. They're literally heads popping out of the trees and on the ground, whatever. We have to deal with it, and our ancestors dealt with it as well. You know what I mean? And
if I had the opportunity to squash one thing, like if I could just never hear this ever again, it would be, why are they all so blurry? So, when we go off in the woods to film a bear or a deer or whatever, we know where they are. We're taking photo equipment in there. We're using bait stations. We're doing the things we need to do to get a photo of that creature, right?
absolutely.
But when you're filming an elusive creature that doesn't want to be filmed, by the time you see it and reach down and get your cell phone out of your pocket, upload your camera app, it's gone. Or maybe the remnants of it moving past are still there. But good luck getting a real true still shot that's undeniable, because they're just...
What I discovered for me that my best way of strategy was actually to do less making videos and do more taking still shots. Now, this is something I figured out back in 2017, and as Synchronicity had it, then I ended up hanging out, talking with Scott Carpenter. Did a few shows with him and all back then, and he was doing that as well, right? And we both figured out, on our own. But it doesn't matter who gets the credit at the end of the day. The fact of the matter is, you film from your side, behind you, they pay attention to our eyes. I noticed as well. And plus, I just think, and I started filming up in the trees more too, not so much on the ground and on the edge of the woods. And I think get a lot more results for that way too. So I think with the new cameras that we have and people becoming more open to different strategies and not being so stuck in the old ways, if you will, I think we're going to take this much further if we willing to talk together. Whether you're flesh and blood or not, we still got to think of different strategies, because regardless, let's be honest, our strategies haven't been working as good as they could be.
Circles, man, walking in circles.
Yeah, that's true. It is true. We're all so, and it's. I know that it's really hard to deal with this stuff because, man, it's like that. It's like there's every time you think you got this figured out, something shows up to remind you don't know Jack Squatch. Yeah. Jack Squatch.
That's right, man. That's right.
It's really frustrating, and it's very FORTEAN, like Charles Fort said, and even the old timers were telling us that too. If people would just spend some time reading some of the old books from like Ivan Sanderson or John Keel, and even we're going to have Stan Gordon on, and he says the same thing. He's had some strange experiences and all these reports and all that, and things are just not adding up. And I think the problem is it was offense to me and my disciplines and my background. I got a scientific background. How the hell am I supposed to now? You can imagine the amount of crow I had to swallow. You know what I mean?
Well, Sasquatch is a more open topic than it used to be, and I guess you could probably blame finding Bigfoot.
I got the crap beat out of me for years. That's why I gave up it's amazing that JT has brought me back into this. Somehow synchronicity, he's bringing me back into this, because for years I didn't want anything to do with the Bigfoot community at all because of the abuse that I had. But I'm not alone in this. There's hundreds of us out there like that, thousands.
I got a weird question for you guys. This is some of my own personal research that I'm doing, so I'm going to ask you guys.
Sure.
Did either of you or both of you, this question goes to both of you, did you grow up in a rural area?
I grew up on the edge. Mine's a suburb. So for me, when I was growing up as a kid, there were still woods around. The creek still had creek chub and bass and grass pike, and there was pheasants still. And I used to hunt and trap as a kid, but I still lived in the suburbs. I lived right on the edge. We still had all sorts. So I spent a lot of time outdoors in the woods and as a kid. And actually, my jobs, whether it was greenscaping or designing nature trails or whatever it may be. Even when I was working on the railroad, I was spending a lot of time outdoors as a train conductor and all that. So I always spent a lot of time outdoors. So as a kid, that's my take on this. What's your JT?
Well, I mean, I grew up in a little place called Dudney, and it's like a old Dutching farming community, basically out in the country. That's actually right where the four-toed Sasquatch was filmed, and the prints and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely rural for sure. And like,
did you grow up drinking well water?
Yes.
Not me. I mean, no.
I believe so. I'm pretty sure that the old house there in Dudney had well water. I'm pretty sure it did.
It's an interesting. I know where. I think I know where he's going with the well water stuff.
Let's hear
fluoride,
where are you going with it?
Glenn, and the feral fluoride, right?
Yeah, so the topic is being brought up more and more. Is that the people that are willing to talk about space aliens or ancient tech or humans, pre-existing humans, Bigfoot, whatever you want to talk about, right? Ghosts, paranormal. The people that are willing to talk about that, the subject is brought up. Well, did you grow up on well water? And the idea is yes, we did. And that's coming more and more of a trend, is that yes, you did.
I don't know if there's much truth to that, because I just like to interview a guy, Jeff. Jeff. He lives in New York City. Grew up there, and he's filmed all sorts of stuff. Once again, John A. Keel, he lived in New York City, but he ended up having an encounter with Sasquatch, and he's the reason why John is famous. Most people know this is because of the Mothman. He's the one that documented it, and he's the one that went around Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania interviewing people. So I don't know how. I know I've heard that myself a lot too, but I don't know if there's much truth to that, because why am I having these experiences?
I don't know, but I would disagree with you as far as there being truth to it. I mean, I've asked this question to a lot of people, and I'm coming around to about a 65 to a 70% margin of people saying, yeah. Now, that doesn't mean that every single person that drank city water as a kid can't.
It all be coincidence. You never know, right?
Well, my point being is that if you weren't exposed to fluoride your entire life,
I get it.
It could have opened a larger chamber of thinking for you. And maybe something else opened it for someone else. But for me personally, yes, I grew up on well water, and I think that if you weren't overly exposed to fluoride most of your life, you might find that it led you to the path of being a deeper thinker.
I could see it, man. I'm not disagreeing with it at all. Like, I could see that having correlation to it,
Deeper thinker. I don't know about that. I'll challenge that. Anytime anybody wants to think deep, I'll go with that, man. We'll talk deep. I mean, I'll do it. And listen, I'm not saying that fluoride is any good for you. Far from it, right? And it's clearly there's overwhelming evidence that it's not good for you, and it should stop. They should stop it. But what's that?
The comment.
Well water keeps your
Pineal gland.
more clean. Well, yeah, that's what they say. You know what I mean? That's what they say. I mean, where the studies? Where's the studies?
Where's the studies?
No, seriously, there should be comparison studies on the fact. I mean, it's not an unreasonable question to ask.
No, for sure.
You know, where's the studies? I mean, I'm not saying it's not so. I'm just saying, where's the studies? Because we do. Here's the problem: it's human nature. We're all guilty of this. We parrot a lot. We hear something on YouTube or we read something and we don't go any further in our investigation or research in the matters, and we start barfing out what everyone else says, you know, and it's a human flaw. It really is. And we should be very careful about what we say and what we claim to be so if we can't back it up. It's not fair to the research. Let's talk about Bigfoot research and stuff. It's not fair to the research, the topic, if we just keep on barfing out stuff without backing it up. You know, a perfect example is tree structures. You know, I'm going to harp on this forever and a day, bro. You know, I'm going to do this. No one's ever seen it. I got a tree structure 350 yards. I'm pointing right now where I'm sitting, 350 yards due east where I'm sitting. There's a teepee structure, right? I have no idea and I found Bigfoot prints. I've even filmed things that look like Bigfoot around it, right? But I've never seen Bigfoot build it, and that's the truth. And if anybody has seen Bigfoot build the tree structures, please let us know so we can put this debate to rest. But until somebody actually sees Bigfoot building the tree structures, we can only see correlation is not the same thing as causation. So,
I mean, like there's videos of Sasquatch out there ripping on trees and breaking them, but not building the structures themselves. So I mean, yeah, you know,
and I'm not saying it's not happening, but then again, you know, there could be some completely different entity or some being or whatever that's making the tree structures, or maybe there are multiple entities. If we what I'm basically trying to say is we need to always keep an open mind about these things and not just be so set on our beliefs. If we're really out to search for the truth, and then we have to go where the data go. It takes us, whether it's uncomfortable for us or not. You know what I mean? And it makes a lot of people upset when I say that. I don't know. How do you feel about it, Jaymac?
Fill me in. I went to go get a beer.
That's what I do to everybody. I just drive everyone away every time I start talking. So what I was saying is about tree structures. I don't know of any evidence of there's nothing that I got a teepee structure 350 yards due east where I'm sitting right now. I filmed entities that look like Bigfoot or Ohio grassman next to near to where that tree structure is. But I have never seen or heard anybody else who said that they've actually seen Bigfoot build a tree structure.
I have neither. I've never heard that story either.
And so my argument is that if we're going to be serious in our investigation, we can't just blatantly claim that tree structure came from Bigfoot. We can't.
Nobody's seen that.
You can't, but you could say that about a lot of things, though. I mean, a lot of the things that we know about Bigfoot and Sasquatch are merely speculation based on the things that we have. You can't prove that the prints that we're finding on the ground are from Sasquatch either.
This is true.
But
this is very true.
The assumption that they are, because what other large bipedal creature is out in the forest?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know that they're out there.
Well,
we know that. I think as researchers, we can agree that they're out there.
Yeah, but the thing is that so we're not even.
Something is building them for sure.
We just listen. They have to find those same footprints, believe it or not, in middle of churches and people's carpets in their houses. And I'm not saying it's not Sasquatch, but at the same token, we always have to put in caveats or quotes that this is what we believe it to be, but we don't have any solid proof that it actually is Sasquatch. And from my research and the things that I'm filming in the woods, there's more than Sasquatch or Dogman in the woods.
Oh yeah,
far more. You know what I mean? And so I got some pretty clear images, of things that look very human-like, but have very big feet, but are not. They don't look like a Sasquatch. And then, and these are just things we have. At least for me, this is where I'm at. I'm willing to say I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
So, yeah, I mean, I think we have to say we don't know about anything if you really want to be truthful about it. But I think that, you know, when you consider the strength that is involved in making those tree teepees, unless we're talking about some entity that can just telepathically move things with their mind, that sort of thing, you know, that's a bit of a wormhole. And I think it's okay to go down the wormhole as long as you keep your footing on the ground. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can still make valid assumptions based on the stuff that we know to come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
And we may be
Until
wrong.
someone experiences the stuff, that's all you can do, right? Like when you start experiencing this high strangeness and this stuff with the Sasquatch, man,
That's why it's so FORTEAN. That's why I keep saying it's so FORTEAN. Why is it one? If it was strictly flesh and blood, this should be uniform experiences. I mean, if you interact with, whether it's a bear or a raccoon or whatever, there's general behavior that creature has that can be repeated over again. You can be demonstrated. You can demonstrate how a raccoon lives in a hole in a tree, and how they make a nest, and et cetera, et cetera. How a bear, you know, but when it comes to Sasquatch, we don't have those answers as much as we want to say we do. And I think it's important that on both sides of the aisle, whether it's flesh and blood or the way you use stuff, woo-woo stuff, is that we remember and be honest about this, that we're limited in our knowledge. And we're operating, it's becoming very cultish, like almost like a religion in my book. That's why I call it the religion of Bigfoot. Because that's what people are behaving like. Now, I not want to take away anyone's experiences. I have some weird experiences I don't expect anybody to believe that I went through. But the same token, and I know other people have their own weird experiences and have nothing that's similar to mine. So you start putting the data, the points together, you're like, there's something adding up here that does not make sense. But yet something really is happening.
Yeah.
What is it?
More than animal. If you go back to my original statement, you asked me what I thought Sasquatch was. More than animal. And that could mean a lot. You know, It's like they could have things that they do that we don't know about. As I say, I don't dismiss anyone's opinions about things at all. Like, I do not dismiss them. I just focus my research on things that I can physically put together. That's all. Mm-hmm. And the other stuff is out there in the world, and I think it deserves, you know, an interest, and it deserves to be listened to.
Absolutely.
And I do listen. I do listen to it. Absolutely. I hear it all. Mm-hmm. I just try to start from square, you know, from A. That's all. I want to start at the beginning. That's all.
Until you have your own experiences with this, say if you do, right, this supernatural Sasquatch you speak of, you know, that's the best way to go about it, right? You know?
Well, like I've had experiences with ghosts. That for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I don't necessarily expect people to believe what I have to say about that either, because there's people that have never experienced it.
Yeah. And it's my experiences is that the paranormal,
I'm still
Sasquatch, orbs, and UFO seem to bleed in with each other somehow, some way, from my own personal experience. I don't know what the connections are. I mean, a lot of us, I filmed an orb that looks like it has a Bigfoot head in it. It's quite a good image too. A lot of times you can see it on the beginning of my videos. And it's clearly, I even have the original photo. You can look at it, and it's clearly an orb, and it's in the middle of the day, and it looks like a Bigfoot head in it. What does that mean?
Dude, pull that picture up if you can and show Jaymac. It's an amazing picture.
Yeah, or send it to me. I'd like to see it.
It's truly, like, this orb picture is... O.R.D. has some amazing pictures he could send you, for sure.
I just, they're on my videos, so just check out my videos. Just
that too. Yeah.
And mirror them, you know what I mean? I don't care. You can
If you
take
check out
credit.
our last
Hell, you can
video-
take credit for them if you want. It doesn't bother me because my issue is that I just want this stuff out there. I want people to start talking more honestly about the images that we're filming, and what's going on in the woods, that we get a little more deeper in our conversation, that we don't stay so narrow-minded in our thinking. I mean, there's always going to be those people who are very dogmatic and want to almost be borderline religious about things, but those of us who are serious about our research and want to have a bigger, or excuse me, a better understanding, you know, give me a
You
minute.
see the
And
guy on my film right now? You see this dude?
JT.
How do I do that?
Oh yeah, you want here? Let's bring him up. I'll bring him up while I look for myself. Yeah, check that out.
Oh, that's a
This
great
is,
shot.
This is Kathy Westerman. Someone in her team lost their glasses, and this guy found them and returned them to their
Awesome.
site.
JT, I have an infant. We just met the live we did last night of the juvenile Bigfoot wearing Sasquatch glasses.
Yep.
I do have one as well. And and then I discovered that I wasn't the first one. Now there's another example of something happening like this where somehow they find people's glasses somehow, some way, and then they start wearing them.
Yeah, one of Dutchy Belief's pictures has a very clear picture of a Sasquatch wearing goggles.
Wow.
So that begs the question, you know, because it's okay. Let's just play around. And I'm not saying it's so, but like, what if these things actually are interdimensional? What if these things do? I mean, the Native Americans for the floor that they come from the stars. Maybe there's some truth to it. I'm just saying, I don't know, but maybe there's some truth to it.
That's what I tend to believe that.
So this is you wanted me to show you. So this is the orb, and this is it's not the original. It's a cropped image, and then go from there. So this is the orb in question.
I'm seeing
This
two.
There's more than one orb, but this is the one in question with the head. So when we zoom in on it, you can start seeing the head, the eyes. You can see the ears.
I can see it already.
The nose, the mouth, the head.
I mean, there's a lot of lore about the orbs and the Sasquatch being connected. You know, I've probably heard a dozen stories about it.
I've had experiences with them in the same areas, big time. You know, surrounded by orbs, like 15 of them going on and off in all directions.
So
right in the same area.
What are orbs? You know, what are orbs? You know what I mean? Some people say they're spirits. They're human spirits. Some say they're other spirits. Balls of energy. What does it mean by ball of energy? What is plasma? Plasma represents 90. I'm going to bring this up always. 99.9 whatever percent of the whole universe, and we're just now figuring out what plasma is. People are discovering what there's sentient plasma. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, what is going on? So, yeah, I mean,
I don't know. You guys want to see a picture of a real ghost?
Absolutely. We do all that stuff because it's all connected, brother.
So I'll tell you a short story. So Hugh and I were in Savannah, Georgia, which is extremely old, like really one of the oldest cities in the United States, and rumored to be very haunted. So anyway, we went to the Low House, and the Low House is Mrs. Lowe was the originator of the Girl Scouts, right? So Mrs. Lowe died of like influenza. Like there was someone else died in the house. There was quite a few deaths, a lot of tragedy around Mr. Lowe's life. So we went there, and my girl is the kind of person that she wants to take a picture, but she doesn't want a bunch of people saturating the picture. So she wants to take it after they're gone, right? So we go into this dining area, and she takes a picture. We had all left, and let me see if I can get this on screen for you guys. I'm actually filming my phone. Forgive me.
Wow.
So what you're seeing is the woman on the right is the tour guide. She was the one that was showing us around. Okay. So we took this picture with no flash. So the secondary picture, the tour guide has her arm up, guiding everyone out of the room.
Oh wow.
And
You see the little guy looking up at her.
yeah.
Yes. Oh man, there's a huge face there, right? And then there's like this weird.
Maybe a better shot.
That's a good. I can see that. Yes.
Interesting.
So
Look at
if
the
you
face.
look, he's wearing glasses, and he has dark hair, and he's looking up at her. And in the back of his head, there's a hood, almost like he's wearing druid robes.
Wow.
And if you look at the bottom, his hands are coming out of the sleeves of the robe.
Yeah, I can see that. It almost looks like he's flipping the bird. It almost looks like he's flipping the bird.
This guy was not in the room when we were there. The picture that you're looking at now is literally the same shot that's here.
Yeah.
You can almost see the orb.
Yep.
That's before he's visual. The orb is there. But then she takes the shot with the flash, the orb's gone, and he's there.
Wow. That's a pretty good one, man. I like that one.
Interesting stuff. So, so the question then is: orbs human spirits at times? Is human spirit an orb? You know, I know a lot of people say that, and I mean, I'm feeling orbs all the time around the edge of the woods. I focus a lot of my time focusing on the canopy of the trees, and I find tons of them around there. It's not dust, or it's not precipitation. It's literally, you see the energy, the electromagnetic energy, the field that it's around it, right? And then it flashes. These orbs flash with energy, and I'm like, what's that about, you know?
Oh, wow.
I lied. I lied. This is the guy that returned the glasses for Kathy. So not the other guy. This is
okay.
And then the Bigfoot shows up.
She has some amazing photos. Bigfoot World of Cryptids. That's her, right?
Yeah, Bigfoot World. I suggest check them out on Facebook. They have a YouTube as well. But I mean, she has.
Oh yeah, we're going to be checking them out. We're going to be harassing them to come join us. Have a conversation. Absolutely.
Kathy will talk to you guys about whatever. I mean, she definitely has some, because she did tons of. I guess before she ever got into the Bigfoot thing, she was a paranormal researcher. That was like her thing, right? For
makes sense.
I think she said like 15 years. But then when she started taking pictures of the tree structures, she was just naturally kind of drawn over to the Sasquatch world because she didn't have a choice. Like they're there in the pictures, you know. So she got drawn into that, and now she's become this sort of, person in the Sasquatch community. But she has a lot of great experiences. A lot.
Very cool. So
excited to talk to her for sure.
What do you think about sending a link out and having some of these people they want to join us and say hi before we close out here?
If anybody would like to.
What do you say, Jaymac? See if your people show up and say hi. May get a chance to talk to them.
It's about midnight here on the East Coast. I did share the link before we went in. Kathy is in the chat. At least she was at some point. I can't really see much.
So I'm gonna send the link in here, and if anybody is interested, you can join and say hi. And Kathy would love to talk to you. And as usual, every time I reach out to guests, they say, "Oh, I'm gonna do it for an hour," and it's been 2 hours because we have fun, don't we?
It was worth sticking around for.
Yeah, it's a bit great.
You guys feel free to join us in live. We will be doing a live at the end of this week. So I usually try to do it. I know you guys are on that weird Pacific time, but I usually do it around 8:30 p.m. something like that. So
I live in Ohio, so I have the same time period as you. JT lives in the weird place out west.
Yeah.
Left coast there, man.
The West Coast is the best coast.
Us Eastern time people, you know, we got it going on. You know, you guys will catch up soon.
We got to stay up till midnight for you guys, you know. So
Yeah, I feel bad for you guys. No.
So no,
Thank
it's
y'all
been,
for being here, though.
yeah, and it's been a great time, and I really appreciate to finally meet you, Jaymac. And it sounds like
Totally.
you're a very reasonable person. You sound like a guy that's got your head on straight, and I think you're going places, and I'm very impressed with it. It's for whatever this old
Definitely.
man has to say, you know. I mean, just another old man. That's all. But I'm impressed, man. So
Definitely.
I appreciate it. I mean, you know, if you look at our videos from where we started to where we are now, we try to add something new each time. We try to progress. You know, we try to do something a little better than we did it last time. We try to take any little monies that we make from the channel, which believe me is not much, but we try to put it back into the channel to
Yep.
create better content for everybody, to try to, you know, get that audience out there that maybe doesn't know they're an audience, or, you know, like whatever. So I mean, ultimately that is the goal. I look at guys, and you know, I don't have to name names because you guys know who I'm talking about, but I look at these guys and I'm like, man, you're out there bullshitting like the world, and you're a
oh,
millionaire. You're a
You're
millionaire
a
for it.
millionaire.
You know, it's like, dude, you're a millionaire. And it's like guys like, you know, that are, for instance, you know, like Kathy, like Billy from Florida Bigfoot, you know, like Scott Loomis, these people that actually have relationships with these creatures that are out there in the woods filming, and they're not making a dime for what they do.
Yep.
it cost me
You know, so
it cost me nothing but money. I have never made
It's
a
a passion, man. It's a passion.
it's a passion, right? It's your passion that drains your bank account if you let it, you know. And I mean, like,
Absolutely.
because I mean, honestly, like, I was doing Facebook and YouTube for probably what 2 years before we ever saw a dime, you know. And then we got monetized sometime in I think it was August of 21, something like that. So we got monetized, and it was a big deal. But what people don't realize is that you're talking about change. I mean, you know, and it sounds great because you're making passive income, which is, that's the dream, right? But when you're making $1 a day, you know, it
Yeah.
doesn't really add up to that much.
It doesn't.
So
I've
it's,
been doing this for 12 years, and the best I ever got even was just making enough to pay for the internet. Pretty much.
right. Yeah.
But there's
You
no
can, you can,
there's no money in this. This is a passion. This is something that drives us. Is beyond money. And I'm not saying it won't be money. I mean, if you guys keep it up, maybe you guys will figure out the way to make money. There are people that do make some kind of money, but you know, it's one of those things. You know, it's always been that way. This has always been.
Mhm.
There's been those few. They usually are the sellouts that make money, and
Mhm.
then the rest of us who are serious about our research is just you just have to make a decision how much you can live with being a sellout. And I can't live with it. So
so like for us, it's like, you know, like I said, being monetized on YouTube, we make a little scratch there, you know, and Facebook will not monetize us. They just won't. So I'm not even barking up that tree. And then, you
no,
know, we make a few donations from our subs, or, you know, people that follow the channel. I have a Patreon that has content that we do not feel comfortable sharing on YouTube because it'll
Mhm.
get us demonetized.
sure.
So I post that content on Patreon. So those people that want to pay like $1 a month, they can go over there. It's very cheap. I mean, they can go over there and
Like
watch
what?
that
It
content.
don't You don't have to say, but like what kind of content is going over there? Like,
I'll tell you about it. I mean, I do the same type of videos. You've watched my videos that are all picture breakdown, stuff like that, you know?
yeah.
We'll do the same thing, but we'll do it with pictures of cryptid corpses.
Oh wow.
And if you show anything post mortem on YouTube,
That's true.
you're subject to some Karen reporting your shit and getting demonetized like immediately. So I've
Oh
already had
wow.
my own struggles with YouTube. Like I went 3 months of fighting them to get my channel monetized back because somebody had reported us for reuse of content. So I had to delete like 60 videos and appeal 3 times to get them to give me my channel back. So I don't take risks. You know, I don't take risks with offensive content. We live in such a vanilla world, you know, so it's like everyone is offended by everything. So it's like the content there, it's available to two people. It's available to the members of the channel. So you can pay $1.99 and be a member of the YouTube channel, and those videos will come to you only, and the members.
Yes. Members
or
only.
you can do it. Yeah, you can go on the Patreon and you can get it that way. Because at least I know those people are not going to report me.
Yeah.
You know, for making content.
Oh,
Put it out
yeah.
in public. You take the risk.
I forgot about this. Eric sent out, posted, I guess you want me to show this. I didn't want to do that, but I was thinking about that when we were talking about orbs and Bigfoot. There is an image out there that was filmed. I think with Eric Abel.
He was talking about it today in the chat.
Do you want me to show it, Eric? Eric is the truth is in the back.
Yes, he does. He doesn't want you to show it.
All right, so this is a very interesting image, and it is of an entity, and there's the orb. And
wow.
It
That's freaking Michael Myers, man.
It appears to be an entity, and if you pay a little closer attention, there's actually a hand right here, but there's like the orb is like either it's holding it or it's in its chest. And it's an excellent image. It's one of the best.
Look at the face on him, bro.
Yeah, it is. It's quite fascinating, isn't it? Let's see if I can hurry up and copy this.
Eric, Bigfoot Input at gmail.com. I'm open to any and all images.
Yes, Eric, send them over to Bigfoot Input. Bigfoot Input at gmail.com, everybody. And make sure to check him out on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere. Great guy, great channel.
Yeah, we're on the TikToks and the Instagram. We don't really know how to use them, but we've got them. So, you know.
Yeah.
The problem is all these things that I have for like bit shoots for my really hardcore stuff, that if you got really meet a hardcore group of people, a nasty group of people, join bit shoot. But I've been on there for years, and that's where the real hardcore stuff that I share. And then I got Rumble, and then I got a couple YouTube channels, but I don't have any luck with like TikTok. I've never taken seriously, have I? But JT's got like how many subs you got on?
I think there's 165 or 160 something like that.
Thousand that is. And I'm just like, yeah, man.
You have 167,000 subs on TikTok?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
He's worked hard for those 160 some thousand.
3 long years. No.
We have like 1,200 followers on TikTok. And I've never really taken the TikTok seriously. Like, I only use it to advertise the videos from YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing I use Instagram for. Like, it's just advertisement. So I've never really quite taken those seriously enough, I guess. But
for the most part, like I would do lives and stuff like that on TikTok, and I post videos here and there, and little, like some of them are not even Bigfoot related. They're like little shorts that I would make for my YouTube channel, because I would make these shorts to like gain traction and subscribers. So sometimes they're I don't really use TikTok very much anymore, but that may change again.
So this is the image a little more blown up for you guys. It's a little.
It's kind of cool.
It's a very interesting image, isn't it? It's just very fascinating. The shadowy figure around it, yet there's that flash of that orb there. And I can't remember, Eric. I think it was from Mark's Colorado Bigfoot, one of his videos, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it's
captured, but I'm not sure about that. Correct me if that's not the case. Because I can't remember. We did this in
can you guys see the face?
Last year we did that.
Can you see the face on that guy though?
We can again if you want.
Do you guys see the Michael Myers face? It reminds me of Michael Myers, man.
You know, a lot of these things too, I notice when they move so fast that it looks like you're seeing multiple faces. Like there's one here, one here, one here. I got a couple of examples.
As I do.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Great shot, man. Great shot.
So I know one thing. Thank you very much, Jaymac. Don't forget to like once again. We've probably mentioned numerous times, but go. Those are following us. Don't forget to like Bigfoot Input, his channel, and if you could think about liking my stuff and following my stuff, my two channels are. The first one is the Lord of O.R.D. And the other one is then the FORTEAN Digital Shaman. That will take you to my other channels. And then, of course, we got SASQUATCH Confessions.
Yes.
Bro.
Follow me on Facebook, my Facebook page. I'm trying to grow that. I just started that a couple months ago. So everybody, if you're on Facebook, go check out SASQUATCH Confessions page. That has the same logo as I do on TikTok and YouTube. I have a SASQUATCH Confessions group on Facebook that has a print as the main picture, like a Sasquatch casting. So those are the areas you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. That's all I do.
It's been an awesome show. Thank you for spending a couple hours with her, bro. I know that you weren't planning on it, but it looks like we all had a good time. I hope you join us again, maybe in a year or so. And I'd love to see and Jaymac, in a few years, your perspective of things. It should.
Me too.
It's inevitable to change to some level. You know what I mean? As more and more experience and time.
We're not changing, we're not growing. So,
what's that?
I said, if we're not changing, we're not growing, right?
No, that's pretty much it, man. It's been a good time. Let's shout out some of the people on the chat, bro.
Everybody, Clay, good night, brother. Susie, hello. We're just ending the live, Susie. Derek, Truth. Everybody, thank you for being here tonight. Really appreciate you guys coming in.
Eric, thank you for joining us.
Yep.
Thanks, Kathy.
Yes, Kathy, thank you.
Yes.
Bigfoot World Cryptids, the Paranormal Central Florida. What else do we got, man? Anybody else? We still got about 13 people here. So anyways, it's been a good, awesome show. Thank you, Jenna, for spending your night. Thursday, we have another live. It's going to be a rocking one, same time, 10 p.m. Eastern.
And if you like the song, that we play, you can find it on Bandcamp. It's my buddy Conspirituality. Look them up, guys.
See? In fact, let's close it out with the other half of that, just for the sake of it.
All right.
1, 2, 3, go.
The type of athlete who likes to smoke when jogging, or search the darkest depths of the Okanagan. In the lake there's a snake with certain defined features. One or more omnivore serpentine creatures. Ever seen the films on slow-mo or photo? Heard about the legend of the Ogopogo? Is he out of his mind, knocked off his rocker? More alleged sightings in the Loch Ness Monster. This is a fox smaller than a scully joint. It's set to roam near its home at Squally Point. Beneath the water underneath Rattlesnake Island. Meant to uplift, not a battle break, my friend. Better pack your shorts so you could find a store, so you could take a quick dip with our dinosaur. My whole entire life I've had to deal with the jokes. Go ahead and try to prove if it's real or a hoax.
There's things that are not known. There's things that can't be known. There's things that won't be known. It's okay, you're not alone. There's things that are not known. There's things that won't be known. There's things that can't be known. It's okay, we're not alone. There's things that are not known. There's things that can't be known. There's things that won't be known. It's okay, you're not alone. There's things that are not known. There's things that won't be known. There's things that can't be known. It's okay, we're not alone.
I know a motherfucking Bigfoot. I know a motherfucking Bigfoot. I know a motherfucking Bigfoot. I know a motherfucking Bigfoot when I see one.